You have survived and you are here. I want you to congratulate yourself because it's been a little bit boring in crypto the last 3 weeks. We haven't had massive parabolic runs. In fact, we've had big retracements. And yet you're still here, which means you're passing phase one of making it rich in crypto. And the biggest part of that is sticking around when it gets rough. A lot of people come for the gains, and they usually come late to the gains, only to be faced with massive retracements. They then exit and they're gone for forever. Now, those who are here to make life-changing wealth don't walk away easy. And hopefully that's you. Can that happen? Well, it's happened for lots. Why can't it happen for you, especially if you make the commitment for the longer time frame? So let's talk about, since you're here, what is going on in the crypto space and my thoughts about it. I'm going to tell you what's going on with Bitcoin, where I think the market will move to from here, as well as what other sectors of crypto will it hit. And then one that's particularly on my mind that I think can do really well in the coming months. So with that said, let's get this party started. Join me, Rainmakers. All right, thank you for joining me. Now, I'm your host, Jay Murph. This is the Crypto Rainn channel, and we started this channel about 6 months ago, adding content for you. And I refer to you as Rainmakers, and not Rainmakers for myself, but Rainmakers for you and your future. So if this is the kind of content you're looking for, I guess specifically the kind of content is my thoughts as an investor. My background is investment. My background is not creating YouTube videos. That's new to me. I'm trying to learn to be good at this. It's hard work, but investing comes second nature to me. I've been doing it for over 20 years. I've been in the crypto space for 4 years, and I talk about things, and I tend to go against the markets in many ways, and I like to look at things as an investor. And I find that often leads me to different conclusions than you find in other places. So hopefully that adds some value to you, because if you subscribe and join me in this journey, we'll use that influence to be able to get more direct contact with the different projects out there and get better updated information, so we get more time relevant information to make even better investment decisions. So I want to share with you kind of what's going on in the market today. You feel some big green, and it has jumped quite a bit since its lows at about 30,000. Bitcoin is feeling quite nice at 40,000. Now, is this the end of this big downturn? Well, kind of signaling some positive things. If you look at this line here, we definitely broke above it, then retraced it and bounced up, right? So that's a positive sign. Also, if you follow my videos for a while, you know that I look at W's. Now this one technically did have a higher low, because it did actually come all the way down here, came up and then went up, as well as you see a second W here, like this, you could say greater W here. And what often happens in the last leg of this W, let's say we were to call this the W here, is it usually does come back and retest this a little bit stronger, and then if it bounces off of that, we're off to the races again. Now, I shared with you my thoughts during the past 3 weeks that I felt like this would be a temporary bear market, that manipulation was forcing most of this by whales in order to get better buy prices and to scare out a lot of the paper hands that there are when people are new to crypto. Now, I hope as many people as possible find my channel, because I'm not new to investing. I don't get scared easily, and hopefully you find that I talk some sense into you when you're feeling panicked about things, because it's normal to feel panicked about things. And this is one of the things the whales use to drive money out of the market and into their hands. And so when I've been investing for so long, I really don't get scared easily at all. Now, that doesn't mean my emotions don't give me signals. I just listen to what those emotions are telling me, and frequently do the opposite of that. And I suggest that you actually, instead of turning off your emotions, listen to them even better, because they will guide you in what to do, as long as you're doing usually the opposite of what they tell you. And it's as simple as this. When were you most panicked in wanting to sell? Somewhere in here, right? Especially when it hit here. If you were watching it and you saw it dip down that low, that's when you're panicked and most wanting to sell. Now, what would have happened if you would have used that time to buy? Well, even though we haven't fully corrected from all the way up here, if you had bought right here, you're still sitting really pretty, right? So when was the absolute best time to buy? When your emotions were scaring you to death, telling you to sell. Now, what were your emotions telling you to do when we were up in this range? They were telling you to leverage the car, leverage the house, and buy more, right? When would have been a terrible time to buy? Up here. So that's usually a good take profit zone. So as an investor myself, I don't turn off my emotions. I listen to them, and I just usually use them to inform me on what to do, as in doing the opposite of what they're telling me. Now Bitcoin possibly and probably is going to come back to this line, retest, and we'll see what happens. Now, what's starting to happen right now is people are starting to get bullish again, and what will happen is people will take out a bunch of longs. Then what will happen to those longs? Most likely, whales will play one more game, and it might even wick it down below this and then come back in here to really liquidate all those longs before it then takes off. This is one of the bigger reasons why I say don't play with leverage unless you've been trading for 5 years plus successfully. I know there's some people that promote Bybit links out there and Femex links, and that's great. They can do whatever they want. I do not, because I've seen so many people lose money in the middle of a bull run through that. And by spot trading without using leverage is your best chance to make life-changing wealth. And that's what I'm most interested in seeing happen for people, is life-changing wealth. And that doesn't happen through luck. That happens through learning how to approach things as an investor and approaching things right, so that you give yourself the best chance for life-changing wealth instead of throwing it all on 34 black. And if you threw it all on roulette on 34 black and it hit 34 black, you would be rich. But the chances of that are really low. And so to me, that's gambling. I don't like gambling. I love investing. Now with Bitcoin, if it does bounce off this and come back up, we'll probably see Bitcoin lead the charge in the coming parabolic move. Now, I don't know if it's going to be one solid parabolic move for much of the market or different parts of the market, followed by then a big crash, or if it's going to be a decent sized parabolic move with another bigger retracement, like a not a significant, like a huge retracement, but a big retracement like what we've seen here, followed by another parabolic move later or earlier next year. I don't know how that's going to play out, but in the short term, what I'm expecting is probably Bitcoin to recover some of its Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance has been falling off, and that's Bitcoin's dominance versus the total market caps of all the other altcoins. And Bitcoin dominance has fallen a tremendous amount since December. And so my guess is Bitcoin is going to run up, and many of the altcoins are going to stay the same in dollar value, maybe go up a little bit, but Bitcoin will gain a bunch of dominance there. Then your bigger altcoins will start to run, and especially some of your ones like Solana, Cardano, Polkadot. You can tell I look at this chart a lot, right? This is the Cardano and Polkadot. Now, I look at this one a lot too, but I recently just removed all the drawings. So if you look at Polkadot, they've had a big retracement, and they have a lot of positive news coming up, some with Kusama about to launch their parachain auctions. Then once those are successful and they know that that's working well, they'll probably start the Polkadot parachain auctions, which then a lot of people are going to start buying up a lot of the DOT out there in order to stake it with projects for the auctions, and all of a sudden a bunch of Polkadot on the market will end up getting staked for 2 years. And so it'll seem like there's a shortage of supply is my guess, and we'll see a run on the price. You've had a gigantic retracement, and it's still at a pretty attractive buy at $25. It was as high as $50, so it's still half off. But my guess is after Bitcoin takes a run, and that's probably where most of the momentum will take first is Bitcoin, then you'll see a lot of investors roll their Bitcoin into some of the altcoins, the larger cap or blue chip stocks, blue chip altcoins, Solana, Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink, a lot of these really large cap ones. And then we will see them move somewhere else. And where is that? Well, we'll see a move to general altcoins, but do you know what sector has been on my mind? If you follow the channel, you know that I frequently think about what is really boring right now, because I love to buy when it's boring, because that tells me I'm getting the best price. When a certain sector of the crypto space is completely out of mind or out of most people's minds, that is when it's most on my mind. And do you know what that space is right now? That would be NFTs. Do you remember when you couldn't go a single video from anybody's YouTube channel without hearing NFTs said at least once every 60 seconds? Well, that was months ago. And look at where the price was when that was happening. The price was clear up here at 1 cent, 1.2 cents, 1.3, and it has since retraced to 0.2 cents. This is the OMI token specifically for the larger Ecomi ecosystem. And they have a lot of good things planned. What I love about this project is they are revenue positive now. And for the foreseeable future, they're going to be revenue positive. And so they're able to bring on some really good team members. They have the money, the liquid money available to continue to get good licenses. Every month they're buying back and burning some of their tokens. So that's good. And so I just see lots of good things coming for this company in general, and therefore likely the OMI token, especially with such a huge retrace. So it's retraced 5/6 of its value. So it's at 1/6 of what it was, and that's fantastic. Now, I've been buying on the way down, and I made my first small purchases at 0.75, 0.74 cents. I don't remember. It might have even been 0.72, but then some more around 0.5 cents, and then a bunch more around this price range when it gets really exciting and attractive. So that's been on my mind, is Ecomi. Now, whether this is interesting to you, I don't know. I know some investors don't trade the NFT space at all. I trade whatever will give me really good returns. And what's funny is some of my very best returns in my whole portfolio were NBA Top Shot packs. I put in $1,100. Within 6 months, went to $180,000. Now, they retraced. In fact, I don't even know what they're at right now. We could check. Moment ranks, aggregates them all. Oh, shoot. My $1,100 is retraced all the way to $53,000. It did go all the way up to $180,000. And part of the reason it's so low right now is it's boring. It's out of everyone else's mind. This is the time that I think about it. In fact, this is part of the reason I did so well. I bought NBA Top Shots when nobody was really thinking about it. NFTs were out of cycle. 2 months prior, there had been a big NFT cycle going on in September of last year. Then we had another one February and March of this year, and now we're out of cycle again. It's boring. Nobody's thinking about it, and that's when the returns are the best. So I just want to bring it to your attention. Another one I do not have any of, but I like the project. In fact, they own the football club space. So if you go to them, they have a lot of partnerships with some of the football clubs and premier football clubs around the world. Now, I don't watch a lot of football, and by football for you in the U.S., I mean soccer to you, but everyone else refers to it as football. And so they have all these great partnerships with teams and stuff, and so that's what's really driven their value. And football is one of the most popular sports in the whole wide world by far when you gauge it internationally. And so that's why their token has done so well. Now, the other one that's done tremendously is the Flow blockchain. And this is a blockchain that the makers of NBA Top Shots developed. And so it's gone to a market cap of close to 600,000. So Ecomi's is completely on sale at 400,000. Chili's at 1.5 billion. And Flow's at 570 million. So all of these have had some pretty decent retracements. Flow's blockchain was up to $40 a token, and now it's about $12. So it's come back, lost 2/3 of its value. Chili's, not as big of a retracement, funny enough. At least not compared to Ecomi, where it hit about 73 cents, and it's lost 2/3 of its value as well. So Comey's had the bigger dump. Of course, Comey had this massive, massive, massive run. And so it, is retracing and losing some of that. And now look how low this volume is and everything. Yeah, a lot of people, it's out of their minds, and they aren't thinking about the Comey token, even though the collectibles are still selling really well. They're not thinking about the token. Now, when the prices were up here, I was focusing mostly on the collectibles, especially as there were still some Series 1s and other things, early series Batman Black and Whites. And then I started focusing more on the token as I felt like it was going on sale again, not knowing how amazing the sale would end up being. So I was buying at different points on the way down. And my guess is it's going to do really well from here. But you can check out a video I did. I've done several videos on a Comey and my price prediction for where this is going to go. And so I'll put a link up here so that you can link to that video if you want to see more on that. Overall, I think the greater NFT space is going to do really, really well. It's getting so large. I did want to bring your attention to one I got absolutely wrecked on, but it's because I was just unlucky. These were some Meebits. These are the same makers that came out with CryptoPunks. They then did these other things. Can't even remember what they're called. They're kind of weird, but they were very rare, just 1,000 of them. And then they made 20,000. I think there's 10,000 CryptoPunks. They made 20,000 of these Meebits. And so with these Meebits, you can get, I'm going to sort by lowest price. Now, when these came out, they were selling for about 2.4 ETH each one. Now, if you got lucky, you got, like, say, an elephant one, or you got an alien one, or you got a skeleton one. And I didn't realize that some people had got a hold of the algorithm, and so they just kept reminting and not accepting it until they got the rare ones. And so they were able to cherry pick a bunch of the rare ones. So when I bought some of these, not realizing other people had cracked the code, I wondered why every single one of mine came out humans. And so for me, it was a gamble because I knew if I could get an elephant one, or I could get an alien one, or a skeleton one, getting just one of those would cover the cost for all the ones I had bought. And everything I got was humans. So unfortunate for me, because I could have, instead of paying 2.4 ETH, I could have just waited and bought them. See, some of these sold at 0.8 ETH last. And so they dipped down tremendously like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And they're starting to come up in price. Now, will these things do well? Well, a lot of the games like Sandbox and other metaverses are talking about integrating Meebits and even some of the other NFTs into their games. And so if that comes together, then I think these will do well. And they do have some significant firepower because they were the makers of CryptoPunks. And so that gives them some clout to really make those agreements with some of the bigger projects out there with their own universes, like either Crypto Voxels or the Sandbox or Decentraland. So I'd love to see that come about. As to whether these are good investment, really on you, what you think. Totally a risk, huge risk. The only thing that, told me this versus some of the other things is just the clout that the company has, having made CryptoPunks, which has been some of the best performing NFTs of all times. Let's see, what else on my mind? There's lots of NFT projects out there. In fact, I've covered in recent weeks Chronicle, which is going to be a competitor really to a Comey, coming out soon, and they are still in the early stages. They haven't launched yet. I do think they're launching on 2 launch pads, though. If you're interested in finding out more, come to chronicle.io and then go to their Telegram group, and that's where you can get caught up on the latest. And another one that comes to mind is XP.Network, and what I love about this is you'll be able to create and deploy NFT dApps and NFTs across all these different chains. And I think this is going to be huge, because if you think about it, right now your Meebits are trapped on Ethereum or your CryptoPunks or whatever else, and the future is complete cross-chain compatibility. So really looking forward to what XP.Network has to offer. They're also still in their early days. I don't know if they have their information launched on which launch pads they're using, if any, but I do think they're coming out in the next 4 weeks that then it'll be tradable. So if NFTs are still very boring, then the price won't shoot off at the beginning and will allow some really good pickups. So hopefully the NFT space stays boring for another month or two, which will allow for some really good pickups because you make your money on the buy. Now, I do thank each of you for joining me. I like to say that my goal with this channel is have the smartest audience in all of crypto. And I'm finding that in our Telegram chat. By all means, join us in our Telegram. You can find the link below under See More in the YouTube video. Also, put your comments right in here. Tell me what you're thinking about, what's on your mind. I try to take the time to respond to your comments and look at them. And yeah, definitely don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to get more information on how an investor thinks about this. And, you know, crypto has made life-changing wealth for me, which is great. But what I'm hoping is that it will create life-changing wealth for a ton of you. But with the restrictions, you realize that I can't give you any financial advice. I'm not even a financial advisor. So what I do share with you is my opinions about things and how I use those to inform me and what I'm thinking about, what I'm interested in, what I'm buying, all those kinds of things, so that you can factor that in with your goals as well as whatever else you're researching out there. It's a small piece of your research in the greater puzzle. So definitely join us and interact with us. I'm continuing to work on some things to figure out making better content for you. I'll probably be doing live streams coming up soon. And I do have an incredible AMA coming up soon with a few projects. I do have Wanchain coming up later this week. And tomorrow I've got Siwon Kim with Kusama Starter. Now, if you have followed me for a while, you know that I'm huge on the launch pads, and Kusama Starter is really focusing on the Kusama blockchain, which is the canary chain for Polkadot. So I'm very excited about Kusama Starter because really nobody else has really gone after that space, and I'm very bullish on really Cardano as well as Polkadot and Kusama. And between those ecosystems, I don't know who will win in the greater battle, and maybe there won't be one winner. Maybe there will be multiple. And so maybe who will win is us, who are invested in the space and have patience and strong hands. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to send it over to our song for all your rainmakers. The rainmakers are those who commit themselves to the long-term vision of being here not just for this cycle, but for the bear market that follows, and then the following bull run, because though it's hard to create life-changing wealth in one cycle, it's much more doable if you'll stick around for at least two. All right, thank you so much.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.